What's up guys, my name is Alex. Today we're going to make some mistakes and learn how to make a 360 camera mount for your kite surfing harness. I've got my Mystic Warrior X harness here. We're going to talk about how to make a fiberglass mold, use that fiberglass mold to create a carbon fiber base plate, make a tube holder to put your camera on, and then we're going to talk about getting this 360 camera set up and locked in so you can get those awesome over-the-shoulder shots. Let's get into it. Alright, so we're going to start by making a fiberglass mold. Got fiberglass here, resin, hardening solution, measuring cup. What I'm going to do, just because I really don't care how it looks, I just care about function, is I'm going to use saran wrap. I'm going to overwrap this, use some release wax or mold release, and then try to fiberglass a nice square over here. I'm not going to worry too much about the dimensions and kind of what it looks like because I've got scissors and a Dremel, and I'll try to square it out later. I do want to make it a little bit bigger than the actual footprint of the carbon fiber that I'm using because I want to have a little bit of wiggle room, and I got to trim down the carbon fiber too. So we're going to make it a little bit bigger than we think we should, and yeah, see how it goes. So figured out very quickly, we're gonna want to take off the spreader bar to make it a little bit easier to work with. So got my spreader bar disconnected. Just gonna go to the side until we get this sorted out. Maybe a little bit of overkill, but I got 4 sheets of my fiberglass here. We're going to apply some mold release, so hopefully the saran wrap doesn't come off with the mold, and get to glassing. So everyone can see what the top looks like. That's the final mold. You can see it's got some good contour to it. So hopefully this will look good. We'll come back when it's done. All right, it's been about 2 hours, so we're gonna pull this off. Alright, so we've got our fiberglass fully cured here. I was thinking originally that I was going to use this surface to make the mold, but it's got a lot of ridges, and this one is actually very smooth. And now that I'm thinking about it, if I make it on the outside, it should still fit just fine, but I'm going to be able to keep the surface a lot more smooth, and I can sand it down. So I think that's the way we're going to go with it. So we're going to cut our carbon fiber and overlay it. Got plenty of this to go around, so we'll make our carbon fiber and see what we come up with. you can see, we have a little bit of contour with it, which looks good. Really, I'm just wanting this to sit flat against the harness and drill it in. And then after this is cured, we're gonna fabricate the tube holder that we lock the 360 camera in. So we'll see what this looks like when the cure is done. All right, so we're back. Had to let this cure overnight. Just a little humid. Temperature dropped a little bit, so see if we can't separate this and hopefully have a good base plate. Alright, there we go. A lot harder to pull off than I originally thought, so I think the way that I'm doing it is going to work pretty well, with this being the inside, this being the outside. Let's go grab the harness, see what we're working with. Nice, so nice and flush. It looks good. Got my carbon fiber tube. It's a little bit long. I'm gonna trim this out here once I get it laid in. But the goal is gonna be to have it kind of seated right here, a little off to the side, so we can get that kind of over the shoulder perspective. I'm gonna try to, I guess, glass it in while the with the tube in there, and hopefully it doesn't get stuck. So we'll see. So because on this one I'm trying to adhere it to this surface, I'm going to paint a layer of this on the carbon fiber base plate first before I start laying the carbon fiber in. So we'll let this cure. Hopefully I can get it out. Alright, we're back. Fully cured. Looks good. We're going to try to Dremel it out and just hope I can get this thing out. Pretty easy. Off to a good start. Grab the harness real quick. Alright, still fit pretty well. Actually, what I'd like to test before, what I didn't think of was making an angle back out. So we're gonna just pop this on real quick and see how much it hits me in the back. So just a little bit. It's actually pretty good, not too bad. So I think that's a good angle. It is at a little bit of a bump outwards because of this ridge. This is probably something that I would do differently if I did this again, was I would make it angle out just a little bit. But I got lucky. It ended up working pretty well, so we're gonna sort out, you know, what the frame needs to be and get to cutting. Alright, so did some more sanding, and it's the finished product. I had a meter-long carbon tube. I got to where it's kind of sitting a little bit above my shoulder, and just used the Dremel to pop this extra section off. So this part should slide in pretty easy. And then sitting on the back, should play pretty nicely right there. That's going to get me that nice over the shoulder 360 view. So next step is going to be drilling the harness. That's probably going to take a little bit because I got to get it set up to go kite here in a second. Alright guys, so we're going to go over the final parts here, creating the mount. So like I said before, I trimmed this down to get the height that I wanted. This is what the final product looks like. Got it sealed off, so hopefully it'll float if anything breaks. So we'll go over this real quick with the extra piece of carbon fiber tube that I had. So what I did is I took a pool noodle. If you just want to push this down and twist all the way through, you can usually get a little plug like this. I filled this with the pool noodle, so if it breaks in the middle or something like that, hopefully it floats. And then for the camera part, that's what the little plug looks like. So I wanted a little redundant safety mechanism in there, so if you have an extra pigtail laying around, you can put that in here. Seat it so that you have a little bit of play. This works really well for the GoPro that I'm using because the pigtail is small enough that this can come out, but it's gonna be pretty difficult. This one that I have is a little bit smaller, so it worked a bit better. So we'll put that in there, put this plug in, and then I have my adapter, and I just kind of push it down to where it's seated roughly where I want it. Again, you want to have a little bit of play so this can come out and you can hook this up and plug it in appropriately. So what I did after that is, first thing, took some sandpaper, sanded around the inside of the tube so that it would adhere appropriately, and then I took some steel reinforced epoxy. I took this out. That's kind of what the inside looks like, and then I just filled this with epoxy and seated the mount right in there. Again, this is what the end product looks like. I did the same thing with the bottom just to seal it off. I'm a big fan, with the GoPro, of having a single lens pointed at me so there's no stitch line through it. So I ran a little bead of epoxy here that seats right in the corner, so I know which direction to insert it so that the camera sits kind of facing over my shoulder with a nice unobstructed 360 view. Put a little bit of extra tape on here just for visibility, because when it floats like this. And then again, this is the final product. So what I do before any session is I'll take the GoPro, I'll get it lined up nicely here, kind of slot it down. It's easy to reach up over my shoulder, and that's it. Thanks for watching. If you guys have any questions, just let me know.